Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I really want to talk to all of you about a personal experience and story of mine about my journey with having an eating disorder, being in recovery, going through surgery recently, and sharing my story with all of you in hopes that maybe it'll bring more awareness and start more conversations surrounding eating disorders and getting help, and hopefully this will help some people out there too to reach out and get support and to get some help. So my kind of story with an eating disorder started about a couple years ago, and it really stemmed from having a lot of bad body image growing up, not really feeling happy with how I looked, and it developed into a really bad coping mechanism for just other bad things that were going on in my life. It was something that I felt like I had a lot of control over, and something that I felt that I could manipulate and work on because I felt really out of control of all the other things that were going on in my life. So when it came to food, it was really nice for me to be able to have something that I can not think about anything else. And so at the start of this illness, it started off pretty innocently. I was just trying to eat better, exercising more, and I was feeling good. I was feeling happy with just being outside, exercising, eating a bit healthier than, and quickly though, it went in a downward spiral. So fastly, I started looking at back the nutrition labels, counting calories, and this innocent thing that I once started out with quickly spiraled into a really serious illness, and I was losing a lot of weight very fast. So in the span, a very short amount of time, I got very sick, and I lost my hair, I lost my period, I was so cold that I would have to go take a hot shower every single day. Like every single day I was in the shower, or I would be in the bathtub trying to get warm again because I was so cold, because I had nothing anymore to go off of. I had pushed away all my friends, I pushed away my family, I was just so focused on food and the numbers. Throughout this entire process, the smaller and smaller I got, I was still unhappy. It didn't matter what size I was never satisfied, and even at my lowest of lows, I didn't like myself even more. It got to the point where I had two choices at this point, and I woke up one day and I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, what am I doing? And I had this kind of epiphany moment and kind of finally broke out of this deep-rooted denial that I was stuck in for months and months and months, and I broke down and I realized I had two choices to make. I can choose to keep doing what I'm doing. I was going to die because I wasn't feeling myself. I couldn't feel my hands anymore. My feet were numb. It was really bad, and it was really scary. Or I could start recovering, and I could start eating again, and I could reach out for help, and I could hopefully maybe bring myself back to life and gain these things once again. And when I say gain these things, I don't just mean weight. I mean gain back the person that I lost. I didn't just lose weight. I lost friends, I lost hobbies, I lost passions, I lost so many things, and none of it was worth it. I chose correctly, I'll tell you that much. I realized that there is more to live for. There is more than just what I'm stuck in right now. Life is worth living. So I decided to get my shit together and reach out for help. I think the biggest and the hardest part about starting recovery, getting and choosing that path, was just admitting just to myself that I was sick, that I needed help. I didn't want to believe there was something wrong with me, because during this whole process, keep in mind, I was being told that I looked great, that I was doing amazing, to keep going, because when we see people losing weight in our culture, we're so fixated on looks and appearance. We want to look a certain way. It was hard to push that aside and really start living for myself and not what other people thought of me. And so this began the journey of just being okay with myself. I had to trust myself. That's still hard today. Like, it's still hard to trust myself and to be okay with who I am and how I look, and that's always going to be a struggle, and I think that's going to be a struggle for most people. At this point in my life, I wanted more. I had a taste of life again, finally, after feeling like I had nothing. I started going to an eating disorder group here in my community, and I met other amazing people who shared similar stories and experiences to mine. I met an amazing counselor, finally realized that I wasn't alone and that I wasn't going crazy. I realized that there is hope to get better, and that there's hope that I can live a life that doesn't always have to fixate on food. This is the other thing that people kind of get confused about when you're in recovery is, and this is why the term recovery can be so misconstrued, is because it implies the term recovered as if there's this perfect end goal that you need to meet. It's a lifelong process, like any other kind of illness or disorder or disease or whatever it is. Sometimes there is no perfect endpoint. Recovery isn't perfect. There's no recovered endpoint. It's just about being able to get to a point in your life where you can go out and enjoy it, and that's not being controlled or taken over by whatever's going on up in here. I can definitely say that I'm at a point in my life now where that's the case, where I'm able to, for the most part, do a lot of things that I enjoy and love again, and eat things that make me happy without freaking out about how many calories are in it or about gaining weight. I'm able to enjoy it, and I do still struggle with it. And that's the other part of recovery that a lot of people don't like to talk about, is the fact that relapse is a common thing and a common occurrence, at least in my life. And I'm being very honest about that. Like, it is not a straight line upwards, but I can definitely say that I've had a lot more of this than this throughout the path of my recovery journey. As long as you want to get better, you're gonna get better. And I think that's my biggest advice when it comes to being in recovery, is as long as you know what you want, then you'll be okay. And it's okay to mess up. Everyone's human. Nobody's perfect. And so that's been really hard for me to accept throughout this process, this past year, being in recovery for my eating disorder. I'm finally at a really great place, and I was really starting to kind of get out and push myself out of my comfort zone. But now, this is the kicker. Recently, throughout this recovery journey of mine, I started losing my appetite. I was really confused because I was like, man, like I've been really working on getting my hunger cues back and pushing myself out of my comfort zone, but I would think about certain foods and I'd feel really sick, or I would eat certain things and I get this really bad stabbing feeling in my stomach, and I was really confused. It wouldn't go away. It was happening for days after days, and then weeks, and it was getting worse. And I was starting to feel sicker and more nauseous. So for the past month, I've been in and out of the ER trying to figure out what the hell is going on and what was wrong with me. I'd found out that through my journey of having this whole messy eating disorder, that because I had lost so much weight so fast and then also recovered pretty quickly too, which is a great thing. I don't regret it. That is not what I'm saying, by the way. But because of that, my gallbladder no longer could break down bile or fat in my stomach anymore. It built up into gallstones. And so I had a whole bunch of gallstones in my gallbladder, and one of them was 16 centimeters. So he was a big boy. He was a big chunky man. Like he was hanging out and floating around in my body, so that was not okay. And I figured this out, and I was waiting to hear back from a surgeon, but I ended up throwing up blood, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? Like, I was just in full panic mode. And I think the worst part of it was this as a result of my eating disorder. And I don't hold any resentment against my past self, and I don't hold any anger. I'm not upset at myself anymore. When I first found out about it, I was really mad and I was really angry at myself. It's like, oh, like I deserve this. This is what I get for doing what I did. But it's where I was at during that time in my life. Like, I forgive myself. This is part of the process, and this is what I had to do to get better. And so I ended up going back to the ER after I was getting a lot worse, and I got emergency surgery on my gallbladder and got that removed 3 days ago. So this video is being filmed 3 days pre-recovery of the surgery. Now I'm got gallbladder, so that's kind of crazy. That whole process was very interesting time. Super high off my head, I'll tell you that much. For the first time today in probably like a month, I ate a meal and I really enjoyed it, and it was really nice. And I kind of sat there and I was just thinking how happy I was I could just do that again, and that inspired me to make this video today, because I just really want people to know they're struggling out there and they have things going on, that it does get better. and that it'll get easier, even though it can be really hard, because it's been the hardest month of my entire life, physically and mentally. Like, this has been some game that someone is playing on me, I swear to God. It's worth it, and every day I'll get stronger, and every day I'm gonna get better, and I'll gain more of my appetite back, keep climbing towards that cake that I'll eat eventually. I just really want anyone to know out there that if they're struggling, or if they feel alone with whatever they might be going through, that it does get better. I can definitely say right now that it is for me. So I know that recovery isn't easy, and doing this is really hard, and sometimes you want to fall back and go back into those bad habits or just give up, but don't do it. There's so much more out there. There's so many great things to enjoy, and I know you can do it. I'm really proud of all of you for trying your best every single day, for getting up, brushing your teeth, eating the basic things. And that's just kind of my little story in a short however minutes this will be. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope that you're able to take something positive away from it, and I hope this brings awareness and shines some light more on some of the serious effects that an eating disorder can cause a person, and hopefully help some people to reach out and get some help. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye!